Hello and welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to the match preview for the Everton versus Wolves game at the Molineux on Sunday. It's a big game going in here, I think, because especially if you look at the form going into it, we've had a recent bit of a slip. I mean, you look at the opposition, you wouldn't say it's that much of a slip, but of course compared to the 4 games in a row, it is a bit of a slip. Of course you had the loss to Fulham in the Cup, and then the 2 league losses to both Tottenham and Manchester City. And Wolves are coming off a decent bit of form, back-to-back wins against 2 London clubs, Chelsea and Brentford, including a 4-1 win against Brentford, which I feel like that was more down to Brentford's shortcomings than Wolves' appraisal, but of course Wolves still do deserve praise for that game because they had a fantastic performance from all around and have shown that they can be dangerous on the attack, which is something a lot of people have questioned from Wolves for a long time now, especially under Gary O'Neill. But it's going to be a big game to go in and get 3 points here. Of course, you look at the recent form of a team like Luton, who are now only a point behind us in the league. It now feels like this is a time where we really have to get something together and get the form that we need to start pushing away from that relegation zone, even though, to be honest, if you look at actual performances, we don't look like relegation candidates at all. I think if you go off that Man City game, it's like I said, I think there's a lot of positives to take from it. You know, there were some really good performances all around from a lot of the players. I think Andre Gomez impressed again. I think you saw good performances from the defenders. I think Pickford had one of his worst performances in a while, but again, no player's perfect, and we can't really expect Jordan to be going every game, hitting 8 out of 10s as a goalkeeper, especially against a team like Man City. I think he was just trying to get us into the game, and in his mind, that was the best way to get us into the game, was by that. So if we have a look, here at the details of it, as I said, Wolves, before that, a bit shoddy form. It feels like every time they won a game, they always would lose and draw, or draw and lose. That's what it was. Newcastle, Sheffield United losses, Tottenham win. But, you look at the same thing. Fulham, Arsenal, defeats, win. Nottingham Forest, West Ham, defeat, loss. A draw, loss. 2 wins in a row. It feels like West Ham Wolves haven't really been able to string that consistent run of results together, but now it feels like this could be their time. Of course, with the game against us being at the Molineux, it's going to be a difficult ground to travel to. It's going to be difficult to play at, but Everton's away form has shown that we can do things like this. You look at the Nottingham Forest game, and I believe the Burnley game was away from home too, where we can travel to opposition and defeat them handedly, or nick the game when we need to. But I think if you look at, I think the statistics for both Everton and Wolves are quite close. Like we've scored 24, they've scored 27, but we've only conceded 25 to their 31. Only 11 assists compared to their 22 though. But you look at it, and even if you want to take more details into account, goals per game 1.3 to us, 1.4 to them. You want to start looking at possession. They average, like 10% more than us, but doesn't every team in the league probably average 10% more possession than us? But I think this is where we have the advantage. I think Wolves defensively are a bit more shoddy than us. I think, I think we are the better defensive unit. I wouldn't really say it's a debate, to be honest. I think it's quite easily us, and I don't think it's close, in all honesty. You look at all the defending stats. We've kept 6 clean sheets to their 2. We concede less goals per game. We make more tackles per game, more interceptions per game, less clearances. But also, you look at it, it's much less saves. And you look at their errors leading to shot, which of course errors leading to goals different. We've actually got 4 errors leading to goals only to their 1, but they have made 8 errors. But I also do think Wolves have a pretty solid defence, and they've some really good players. You're looking at, if you want to look at the goals, Hee-Chan Hwang has had a great season, 10 goals so far, and that's only from around 5 to 6 xG. I know these bombarding you with stats may not be interesting, but I think it is interesting to the fact that they've also got Pedro Neto, who I believe has got 7 assists, which is towards the top, from again only 2.6. And this is probably irrelevant to us anyway, in the fact of that you probably look at our XG, a lot of our players probably underperforming their XG massively. Wolves are showing that a lot of their players can overperform their XG, and that's proving they can nick these goals when you least expect. So I think it is a thing where that could cause us problems. Our top goal scorer is Decore with 6. Decore's not going to be back, so we're relying on Calvert-Lewin with 3, when Calvert-Lewin should have scored 7 goals according to XG. So it's one of those where it's difficult. You know, Dwight McNeil's our top assister with 4, and you know that's about right with his expected assists. But I think it's going to be a cagey game. I think it's going to be one of those usual away performances where we're going to see Wolves have a lot of the ball and be able to create a lot of chances. Players like Neto, Sarabi, Acuna are great at creating these chances, are great at finding space to find players in. And if you remember towards the start of the season, I think it was Man United, Wolves have shown that they can get into games really late and have an impact and cause real trouble for their opposition late in games. Something we defend well, but something that could cause us a lot of trouble in the long run. So I think it's going to be one of those where we're gonna have problems, and it's gonna be about weathering that storm. Something we showed we can do against Newcastle, against Chelsea, even against Burnley, and at times against Fulham. I think we've shown that we can capitalise when the time is right. But I think one thing that's going to define this game is big chances. You know, you compare to our big chances per game is 2.7. You compare that in the league, that's probably towards the top. You know, that's 2.7 good chances at goal we're creating per game, and we're missing 1.8. Compare that to Wolves, who, you know, are missing 1.2 of their 2. But again, you know, you're seeing from us, that's almost 2 huge goal scoring opportunities a game we're squandering with these silly opportunities. If we go back to the Man City game, you look at the Calvert-Lewin one where Calvert-Lewin probably should have scored that. You'd expect most players to score that goal, but I'm not going to sit here and dog on Calvert-Lewin for the performance, because that's in the past now. We're looking forward onto this game now. I think we need to see a real clinical edge in front of goal, and I think if not, then I think a striker needs to be looked at in January, or at least a winger who can score goals. I think that's for another video topic. But I do think it's going to be an interesting one. I think it's going to be a back and forth cagey game. I think it's going to be one of those where there's not going to be a goal until in the second half, and then I think whoever gets that second goal, that first goal, is probably going to get that second goal too, to be completely honest with you. I feel like this is going to be a game of taking the chances when they're given to you, and, you know, being given opportunities and taking them. Something we've struggled with this season, to be completely honest. We've struggled with creating chances. We've struggled with taking chances, and we've struggled with, you know, putting away those simple chances that we should be scoring, to be completely honest. So I think that's gonna be the story of this game. It's who can take the chances when they're given them, and I'm going to have some faith. I think we're going to be the team that are able to take the chances. I think we are going to see Calvert-Lewin get on the score sheet with a 1-0. And then I think Danjuma's going to come on and finally get that goal late in the second half to make it 2-0 Everton. Could I see the result being the other way? Completely, to be honest with you. And that's no slight to Everton. That's just Wolves are one of those teams where they can nick results, even against teams that are better than them. And I think us and Wolves are probably on about the same level. Wolves have shown now, you know, you look at, they're 11th in the league now, after this decent bit of form. Same points as Chelsea, but that -4 goal difference tells you something. You know, we would be above them without the points deduction, so I think it shows that we are, you know, only a point ahead though, so we are at a similar level. We're both at around the same level, so I think this is going to be one of those games where, like I said, either team can take it. We're at the same level. It wouldn't surprise me if the result goes either way. Of course, it being at home gives Wolves the advantage, but we do have some really good away form. But I do think that's all I've got to talk about. I think goals from Calvert-Lewin and Danjuma will be what lead us. I think we're going to see a monster performance from Onana as well. I think we're going to see a great performance from him, controlling, dictating. I think that's what we're going to see. And to be honest, I think that's all I've got to talk about for this video. If you did enjoy, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Please make sure to follow us on Twitter at Everton Newsfeed, and make sure to follow me on Twitter at Callum. And I will see you all for the next video or live stream that I'm on. Goodbye, everyone.